Hi and welcome to Healthy Life Hacks. I'm Jefferies, the present day wise woman, a realistic naturopath coming to you from the surfing beaches of Australia. This podcast is for those of you who are wanting to really rock your life and health and live from a place of prevention. Let's get into today's episode. I really like salt. Jen, please tell me it's good for me. Well, okay, I will. Salt's good for you, if that's what you want to hear it is. Well, and it really is. However, the thing is, it's actually real salt that's good for you. Now, what's the difference? You know, you go to the supermarket and you buy, I'll have some lovely, some salt flakes to put on my meal, or the ground salt, I'll ground my salt up, or, whether you're adding, my mum used to always add like a heap teaspoon to the veggies she was cooking on the stove. If it's that white salt, what it is it's the real salt has been refined, and you're left with two out of 84 minerals. Those two minerals are sodium and potassium. Now, nature gives us everything in balance. That's what I love about. Now, if you go to the salt pans or you go to the salt mines, for instance, you get a handful of salt. It's almost kind of an oily feel to it, a wet kind of. It's an interesting kind of strange feeling to it. Anyway, and you might have noticed if you've got one of those salt lamp kind of things, they absorb the moisture. So if you don't have them turned on all the time, they actually start to break down. They go really wet and oily and kind of, not oily, but kind of wet and minerally and break down. So close to nature, what you're actually getting is the raw minerals, and it's actually like a multi-mineral tablet, which is really good for you. However, good old science and everything, they go and take out all the minor minerals as they're considered, but nature gives us everything in balance. So the minor minerals, those 82 minerals, are everything from your calciums and magnesiums and zinc and manganese and iron and all those minerals that are just naturally found in nature. They come together. Now, depending on the salt, where it comes from in the world, will mean it's richer in some minerals and lower in some others. Okay, so, like the greeny kind of Celtic salts versus the pink salts versus, other salts from other parts of the world. So salt is good for you. It is, as I've got to say, it is actually good for you. However, too much salt leads to high blood pressure, strokes, nasty kind of things like that. So how much salt is actually our recommended daily allowance? For women and men about 14 years of age and older, it's around about 1,500 milligrams a day. 1,500 milligrams a day is about 1.5 grams a day, which is a quarter of a teaspoon a day. It is considered safe from the powers to be that actually measure those kind of things. So salt in moderation is good. Now, it's not the salts visibly that you see that you add to things that is the challenge. It's the hidden salts. It's used as a preservative in so many packaged foods. So limit the amount of refined, processed and packaged kind of foods, and you're going to limit that salt intake. And if you ever have the option to buy something that's reduced salt or something, go for that. I did a call on recently, which is all about bringing more omega-3 essential fatty acids into our diet, because salts just dry out our arteries. So we actually want them nice and pliable, so that if something happens and you do get a blood clot or something like that, that your blood can move through, and the flexibility can be there so that you don't go having a stroke. So omega-3 essential fatty acids are essential for that in our diet. Omega-3s come from flaxseed oil or fish oils. I'm a huge fan of flaxseed oil. I have about a dessert spoon a day. If I was taking capsules, I have it as loose oil. You can put on your salads, on your food. I put it in my nutrition shakes that I have. Simple way to take it. If I was having capsules, I'd actually have three times a day to get a similar amount of omega-3s. So I'm a really big fan of omega-3s. If you're going to be a salt eater, I would really suggest you do, fish oils, cold water fish oils, or flaxseed oil as an absolute addition to your diet as well. So anyway, let's talk about the different salts. I'm a big fan of Celtic salt, which comes from France, and the pink salts. So the Celtic salt, it's literally go down to the salt flats of France, and if you get a bag of it, it's kind of like a greenier, the most luscious, minerally green kind of color, wet, again, close to nature. And it's been hand harvested to ensure that it retains all that, nothing artificial happened to it kind of salt. It is partially dry, but at a really low temperature. So remember, some minerals are water-soluble minerals are lost in steam evaporation, in heat. So, they're gently dried, which is really cool. And it's rich in things like sodium, absolutely. It's still sodium, but it's also magnesium and iron, manganese, zinc, really important minor minerals. So I really love Celtic salt. You'll usually find it in your health food shops or somewhere like that. Pink salts. Now, pink salts nowadays you can get from the Himalayas. And I really love the Murray River salt that we get from South Australia. Now, the pink salts tend to be richer in manganese, calcium, potassium, and iodine. So I really like the pink salts are good too. And I play kind of between both. But that pretty white kind of salt that you'll find in, your fancy cafes for sale and find in the supermarkets and places like that, if it's really nice and bright and white, it's primarily sodium, potassium. Now, like I said, naturopaths, we want you to live as close to nature as possible the majority of the time. The salt that you're seeing in your refined and processed foods, it's all the refined stuff because it's cheap as shit. Don't do it. So if you're going to use salt at home, all good. We do. Absolutely. We use it in our home most days. However, it's either a pink salt or it's a Celtic salt. So healthy life hack, pretty simple. What kind of salt are you eating now and how much are you eating? Remember, try and bring it back 1/4 of a teaspoon a day, which is 1.5 grams a day. And remember that it's not the salt that you apply that we're worried about. It's the hidden salts because they're the trap and they really are usually the cheaper, refined, nasty kind of salts. So keep it close to nature, guys, nice and simple. And yes, salt is good for you. And then I want to thank you for being here today. If you enjoyed my podcast, please let me know by leaving a review on Apple Podcast. Every month, I draw one lucky person who leaves a review on Apple Podcast to have a free 1-hour consultation with me. Be sure to subscribe to the show wherever you're tuning in from so that you always catch the next episode. And if you would like to receive a free copy of my Feed Your Body ebook, simply click the link in the comments below. Join my newsletter and we will get that free ebook sent to you. I welcome your emails and you can write to me at podcast@healthylifehacks.com.au. Until next time, remember, when it comes to life, live it, love it, and get on with it.